SVmixMedia.com, the hottest multimedia station in the world. I'm sitting here with soul, R&B, singing. I don't even want to say legend because you're still doing it. And sometimes when you say legend, that gives the implication that you're not still doing it. So,
Well, yeah. You know, when they put that legend thing on you, it's almost like you become extinct. But you know, I don't mind, man, because you know I've had a long career, and it's hard to be, you know, like I tell people all the time, if you live, you're gonna get old. And so you just might as well face that, you know, and that the longer you live, the more legendary you become.
absolutely. I'm here with Mr. Eddie Levert, father of Gerald Levert and Sean Levert, and the authenticator of what I believe, man, is the consummate black sound for singing. I believe, man, to me, you are the textbook lead singer in black music. How does that feel for you for someone to say, man, that they think that you the blueprint?
Oh man, that oh, that's quite a that's quite a compliment, man. You know, because you got to remember, like I grew up listening to people like James Brown, Otis Redding, um, Aretha Franklin, you know, Sammy Davis, um, Jackie Wilson, you know, all and Marvin Gaye and Ronnie Isley, and these are people that I admired. Do you understand? These are people that I looked up to and put them on a pedestal. So for you to say that I'm the the guidelines for R&B music, I mean that's saying a lot, man. And you gonna make some people dislike me even more.
Well, they just gonna have to do that because it's an earned title. You know, I've spent a lot of years DJing and running radio stations and things, and you know, it over the years I haven't seen anyone who has affected the sound the way you have. I remember when I was young and it was popular for groups in Detroit to, you know, be around singing and stuff. And so many guys would try to imitate that signature sound. Because, you know, when you come on the OJ song, it ain't no doubting when Eddie done entered, when Eddie done entered the tune. So, you know, tell me a little bit about how you developed that hard-hitting sound and that solid R&B vocal that you got, man, that is a blueprint for so many people today.
That's the way I come by that, man, is like that's a piece of everybody that I loved. A piece. I took a piece of James Brown. I took a piece of Gladys Knight. I took a little bit from Ron Isley. I took a little bit from Nat King Cole, Sammy Davis. I took a lot from Mario Lanza, the opera singer, because when I came along, everybody was doing runs, riffs, and all of that. Mario Lanza was just a guy that held the notes really straight, without doing a lot of runs on them, and he was able to touch your heart by just the way he held that note. And I thought that was so ingenious that I said, well, in order for me to be different than most people, I'm going to try to copy this opera sound that he's getting. And you know who else got hip to that? Rick James, because he used the same theory, because he got it from me. He used that same theory, and we both were able to be successful with that because we were not doing a lot of riffs. We were just holding those notes, trying to hold them out until people could feel the passion in them.
Well, because I know that right before you, in the era before you, you had a lot of lead tenors like Frankie Lyman and Sam Cooke. All the sexy guys were like lead tenors, and then you and Teddy, y'all kind of came along and deepened it up a little bit and brought a different flavor.
Right. Well, you know that really Marvin Jr. with the Dells really brought that into being. You know what I'm saying? He was the first originator of that harsh, gruff, take charge kind of sound. And, you know, and like I say, you steal a little bit from everybody to try to make you.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me ask you this: like, you guys have signature love songs, and I've watched a bunch of interviews with you guys, and I've never really seen anybody ask you this. Was it the intent of the group to be sexy? I mean, now I don't watch the stage performance, and I see you up there playing with the women and doing your thing. How important was it, or is it still, for an R&B singer to embrace the sexy for the ladies?
Oh, you gotta. Look, they're the ones who are gonna keep you there. If you're waiting on the dudes to keep you there, you're in trouble. So everything that we do is geared to the ladies. It's for the moves, the sexy moves, the suggestive moves, the conversation. It's strictly made for women, and if you don't get the ladies involved, you know the guys ain't gonna last long, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, in the R&B that they make today, there's all the auto tune. There's the one man gang as far as the band goes. Now, it's one guy on the keyboard.
Yeah.
All this. What are some of the things that you like about the modern R&B, and some of the things that you don't like about the modern?
I think the guys are very creative. I think in order to take something that's been done already and then redo it and make it successful, I think that takes a lot of talent. I have to admire them for that because they are able to take some old stuff and take it to another whole nother arena and make it really something that's effective and they can buy. What I don't like about it is that they don't take enough time to learn how to play an instrument so they can invent their own licks, so they can come up and create something of their own. In order to be successful at anything, you must know the roots of it. And in order to know music, you must know how to read it and to write it and produce it. And these kids are playing themselves short nowadays because they're not going to school to learn. And see, and the schools are not teaching them how to learn because they've taken all of that stuff out of the school system. They're not teaching them how to play. They're not teaching them how to sing. They're not teaching them the correct way to do things. Consequently, we end up with a lot of mediocre stuff, man. And some of these people, don't have no business being there. But the reason why they're there, because we became so much into the look, not the sound, the look. If you got the look, then you got a chance to make it. It's like when they say things like Robin Thicke is the king of R&B. What? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Robin Thicke, the king of R&B? Justin Timberlake. They're good, but see, they're only good because they've gotten involved with black people who are showing them how to do black music. In other words, but it's all that we ever did when we were coming up. Because when we were coming up and said, well, if we could get a white group that sounded like the OJs, do you know how big they would be? Because of the numbers, strictly because of numbers. So we've always tried, being black producers and black writers, we've always wanted to come along and say, grab a white group and let's make them as black as we possibly can, and they will win the whole ticket. The Beatles were a prime example of that. The only thing that they were doing black music, but they grew their hair long and they were white faces. But the music was still basically based off of black music. All of that music, Rolling Stones, same thing, Eric Clapton, you name them, all of that music is from black, has black roots. Even the rock and roll guys, they don't want to admit it, but Little Richard, Chuck Berry, those are the people who started all that. Jimi Hendrix, all of that, so they downplay us, and we let them downplay us because nobody want to rock the boat. And see, and that's why they don't ask me a lot of questions.
But that's why we're here. Let me ask you this. I'm hearing this great music in the background, and you got this brand new CD. How hard is it right now for the established nostalgia artists in the black community to break back into the mainstream? Because I've been talking a lot to the established nostalgia groups, and they're telling me that there's almost a revolt in the industry not to let the nostalgia groups, the black nostalgia groups, back in. But the Rolling Stones can put out a reunion album right now, and they'll play on every major station in the country. What is that about? What's your opinion on that?
I think we as black people, we're not supporting our own. We're not pushing our own music. So we're letting our music die while they continue to keep making money at theirs. You understand? And we are sitting idly, twiddling our thumbs, letting them just play anything they want to play on our radio stations. Do you understand? On our radio stations in our community, they're just gonna keep playing them same 10 records all day long, and we're not gonna say anything about it and say, put this. You need to play this OJ stuff. You need to play the Spinners, and remember these people. All of these people I'm talking about are recording new music. Gladys, Anita Baker, the OJs. All of these people are in studio cutting new music, but radio refuses to play it. Look, so if you don't stand for something, you go for anything, and that's what we're doing. We're not standing up for our music, so we're just going for anything. So they just play anything, and we have to go for it. That's why we complain a lot about, well, they're not, I don't like what they're playing. Then do something about it. Go down there and tell them we're not going to listen to your station anymore if you don't play what we want to hear.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to send a shout out to the mom and pop establishments that are still around in the city of Detroit. We're here in Chantonique's Records, one of the most established mom and pop record stores in the history of the city. And I want to shout out to the owners, Barry Beal and Josie, you know, for having an R&B legend like Mr. Eddie Levert in the store and giving us the opportunity to come down here and talk to him. You know, if you get a chance, make sure that you stop down to Chantonique's if you're in the Detroit area and pick up Eddie's new CD. You know, it's called "I Still Have It," and he's definitely still got it. So, what can we expect on the new CD? "I Still Have It."
Well, see, this is my first shot at trying this, man. And when I did it, I slept with this thing for a whole year before I put it out, before I felt like, okay, let me put it out. And then I went through the line. I said, now what should I put on the front of this thing? Because I don't have intentions of leaving the OJs, but my intention is to do R&B music, man, to keep people, I'm trying to keep it alive. I'm trying to let them know that that's why you don't hear no whole lot of horns and strings on this. Most of this is just rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Me and rhythm singing. You know what I'm saying? And everybody want to say, well, it don't sound like it's finished. What do you mean finished? It's finished when I did what I did to it. That's when it's finished. And this is and it's a piece of work. I dare anybody to take this CD, go home, listen to it, and by the time you get through listening to it, you're gonna love this CD because it's giving you all the little things that you miss from music, and the only other person that's giving you that, and they don't give him his propers, is R. Kelly. I think R. Kelly is one of the greatest producers, writers of this day and age, and he
Definitely a modern era R&B.
he's keeping the music alive because everything that he's touching has been done already. He's tremendous talent, man, and I think a lot of him.
And he's done some great work with nostalgia artists. Charlie Wilson, you know, Mr. Big. So he's been getting it in.
He's done it with the best, yeah.
Maybe we might have to hook that up. I got ends to the Kelly crew.
That's what I'm telling
You know. Once again, we're down here in Chantonique's Records in Detroit. Shout out to my man Reggie Levert. You know, for hooking this up, man. One of my partners in crime, and we're talking to the great, the legend, Mr. Eddie Levert. And make no mistake about it, this is a solo project. But like you said, he's not leaving the OJs. So don't get excited. He's not leaving the OJs.
And see what I gotta do, and I put this out, but I was unable to go out and work it and promote it like I wanted because they say, well, if we book you, Eddie, we can't book the OJ. So next year, what I plan on doing is. I think I'm going to take all of next year and just spend it on working on Eddie Levert and promoting that part of it, And then I think in that way we'll give the market a little rest from the OJs, and then when we come back and do a reunion tour, we'll sell a lot of tickets, and they'll come out and see it.
That sounds great. Let me ask you this: on some of the live shows, can people look forward to you doing maybe any of Gerald's stuff?
Well, on a lot of my Eddie Levert shows, I do a lot of Juro and my stuff because that's why I like doing it, because I get a chance to touch all the music that we've ever done. I get to do some OJs. I get to do some music that I wrote. I get to do a lot of the stuff that me and him did as father and son. I love doing that gig because I'm not locked in. Where with OJs you're locked into a regiment that you have to do the hits. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to do them in a such a form that it becomes very formatable. You understand? Where with this, it's like however I feel, whenever I feel, whatever I feel, and how long I want to do it. Where with the OJs, there's a formula. There's a thing that you have a time constraint.
Now we like the formula though.
Yeah, I know. So do I. But there's a formula, and you have to stay within that realm to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. It ain't something you can deviate from on a major scale. You have to sort of stick with the script. Where with this, I can just go for it.
So what maybe is something that we might hear you actually cover of Gerald's on the show?
On this show?
On your live show?
Oh, on my live? Well, I do all of it. I do the Casanova. I do the Baby Hold On to Me. The Already Missing You. Now I'm thinking about this year when I go in 2014. I want to put in Too Damn Good. I want to put in a couple of those really soulful things that he did. Look, see, the reason why I stayed away from his stuff is because it's very emotional for me. So, I spend whenever I go to singing and thinking about the stuff that me and him has done and what we have done, I get very emotional, man, and I spend maybe 10 minutes crying and shit.
Right.
So I try to stay away from it because it becomes so. Do you know how you miss something and you never can get it back? You can't never get that back. Some of my greatest moments on the stage, man, and I've had some great moments with the OJs and all of that.
I remember him at one point filling in with the OJs.
Yeah, and he, I've had some of my greatest moments on stage with that kid. We broke a lot of barriers. The Wind Beneath My Wings, that song and what it did to the national audience. We had people crying just looking at us on TV doing this song.
Oh, absolutely. I was one of them.
And the object of this song was the reason why me and him did it was to try to cement the relationships of fathers and sons, because fathers don't get a lot of credit for being there. And the reason why it's just like that. Look, hey, we wanted to try to cement that bond and tried to let them know that all dads are not, you know, all dads are not just bad fathers. There are some good fathers out there, and like we have to make everybody else aware of that you have to stand up for yours.
I started singing gospel with my dad, so
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, and these things, this helps the outlook of our young people. And like I was saying earlier, the reason why the Jay Z's and the Puffies and the Tupacs always talk about their moms is because they had no father figure in their life. So there's no there's no there's no empathy for dads. You know what I'm saying? That's and I think we have to keep working on it and trying to make it happen.
absolutely, absolutely. Let me ask you this. You, now there's all this talk about should artists be role models, and 50 years plus in the game, we haven't seen any major Eddie Levert scandals over the 50 years. So what I want to know is what have you done to maintain yourself as a quality individual in this business so that we haven't been served up all those scandals over the years?
Everybody's business is nobody's business, man. Do you understand? And remember, the reason why that hasn't happened is merely because of this. Um, I have no look. It's my duty as a man to make sure that my family is not scandalized. It's my duty as a father to make sure that my family is held in the best self esteem that I can make them feel. In other words, I am not going to be selfish and say, the hell with it, I'm going to do what I want to do, and the hell what happens to my family and who suffers from it. We as people have to take on the responsibility of being responsible for what is happening with your family. Do you understand? For your family to be, for you to put yourself out there and then they start looking at your family in a negative sense, it's on you to make sure that that doesn't happen. It, me and my sons, we didn't always agree, but you hell won't never ever know it. Do you-
Right, absolutely.
Me and my wife don't always agree, but it's none of your business. And I'm not gonna run around in the street and go to talking about it with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that that is personal, and that's what we have to keep together as men and as women. And
W- We call that a good old fashioned Baptist razor right there.
that's right. That's right. The reason why those things happen because people are only thinking about themselves. When you got a family and when you got people that look up to you, you have to keep that in mind with everything that you do and the things you do in front of other people. Because remember, this is my family. This is my family's name. This is what my family, and I am not going to belittle that or let anyone else do that. You understand? So it's none of your business if I got problems with my family. We got to work it out.
Well, I just want to say, man, the family name is great. It's intact. You and your sons, man, were great representatives of your family. I caught the unsung. I really enjoyed it. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to interview you. I'm gonna get out your way because I want you to make some money. I want to thank
Slow, man, but it's all right.
Well, I want to thank Chantoniques for allowing us to come down. I want to thank Reggie Levert. Like I said, Chantoniques, man, is a great establishment. Oh, we're going to interview Josie. We ain't getting out of here without putting her on.
This is an icon here.
Absolutely.
This is something she stuck with this and stayed with it. Do you understand where a lot of people give up? Um, this is probably one of a kind in the world because they don't have these kind of stores anymore. where you can go and see the owner, and you can see your stuff on the rack, and you can come in, and the neighborhood comes and see you. This is one of a kind thing, and we need look. I don't know whether integration and segregation was a great thing, but I think it hurt us at the long run because we lost our community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
And you know, people like Josie and Chantoniques, they basically keep the tradition of this quality music going by giving us a venue to sell and a venue to meet. I mean, you can come right down to Harper right now and meet this legendary artist. So, you know, like I said, once again, it was our pleasure. We thank you. I'm going to try to get out to the show tonight, man. If I had to sneak in the back door.
Oh man, you ain't got to sneak in. You can walk in with me and Reggie.
I know anywhere Reggie is a good place for me, so that's what's up. Me and Reggie had the pleasure of checking out one of Kansas City's hottest artists together, Tech Nine, at the Fillmore here. We had a great time. So Reggie's my man. I like to hang out with him.
You simply